Hello and welcome everyone. We're starting episode 22 with $3,463 and we're going to play a couple sessions at Grand Villa. On to the first hand, we have ace 4 of diamonds, button shuttle is live facing 2 limps. We make it $30 and we go 4 ways to a flop. Comes down okay. Ace 10-7, rainbow. Checks to me, I'm not going to bet this into 4 players. I'm just going to check it, and checks runs the button who puts in a half pot bet of 60. Looks good enough to call for me, and cutoff also comes along. So turn is the 10 of diamonds. I check it, cutoff checks, and this time the button checks behind as well. So off to a river, which is the 3 of clubs. No sense in betting here, I think. I'm just going to check it, hope to get to showdown. And it does, checks through. We show, and unfortunately button has ace jack off, so not a good start to the session. Looking to upgrade from the ace 4 suited all the way up to pocket ace is this hand. Button straddle is once again live. We're facing 2 limpers and we make it 30. Just like the last hand. This time we get the cutoff as well as the original limper calling. So we are 3 ways to a flop of ace 5 deuce rainbow. That's okay. Could have asked for better, but we're going to start with small bets. I make it 25 and they both call. Off to a turn, which is the 10 of diamonds. Looks pretty good. I'm going to keep betting here. I make it about half pot. I don't want to go too big and scare them off here, as well as they don't have too much behind. So 85 here. Cutoff though, has other ideas, and he makes it 200. Folds back to me, and he's only got 145 behind. We could call and trap, but if a diamond comes, he might be unwilling to bet. We're also out of position, so I'm just going to stick it in here. I'm all in. He calls, off to a river, looking for some help. It comes, we make quads, and he shows pocket 5s for set over set. Poor guy. We didn't even need the quads. Nice way to start the session. Every hand we're playing today has an ace in it. 3 limpers, and we have ace jack off in the big blind. We're going to make this $20, and only the small blind calls, so heads up to a pretty good flop. Ace king 9, 2 clubs. He checks it to us. We could go either way, but I'm just going to check this one back. Probably nice to have a club in our hands check back, but it's okay. Off to a turn, which is pretty good. Jack of spades brings another flush draw in. He bets, but it's small. It's 15. Normally I wouldn't raise in spots like this where I check the flop, but against the small sizing, and the turn does change a bit, so I make it 45 and he calls. Off to a river, which is pretty good. Another jack, make a full house. He checks it over, and all the draws missed. Literally all of them. So I'm going to size up. I either have a very strong hand or a missed draw. So I make it 140. He doesn't think for too long and tosses in the call. Shows a jack. So really nice check on the flop, I'd say. All right, we're into our second session now. We are still continuing the theme of only playing hands that have an ace in them. I got ace king suited under the gun. I make it $12. Middle position calls, and then hijack 3 bets us to 35. Folds back around to me, and against this sizing and this specific player, I'm going to 4 bet. So I make it 85. Middle position gets out the way, and hijack makes the call. So heads up to a flop of jack 4-3 2 spades. I'm going to start with a small bet here as I would with all my hands. So I make it 60 and he pretty quickly calls. So looking for a club on the turn and will most likely be jamming, or an ace or a king. Turns a 9 of hearts. Not great. Gonna slow it down here. So I go with the check. I think jamming as a bluff could also be good, but I don't know. I check and he checks back. Looking for some help on the river. Doesn't come. 8 of diamonds. I just check it again, and he checks back. We show, and our opponent has ace king as well. Pretty nice start to the session. All right, this next hand is about 2 hours of just brutal card dead. So I'm a little bit bored. We raise up the king 5 of diamonds over 2 limps to 18. Not recommended, but it is what it is. Big blind calls, low jack calls, and hijack calls. So we are 4 ways to a flop, and I'm instantly rewarded with my bad decision by flopping top and bottom pair. Big blind checks, low jack checks, and hijack leads out for 15. Definitely going to raise here. So I make it 55. Goes back to the big blind, and now the low jack 3 bets the flop to 150. Hijack folds, and this sucks. This player is never bluffing. Okay, like never, ever, ever bluffing. This is not Jack 10. This is not him overplaying Ace King. This is probably King Queen. Could be pocket fives. It could also be Queen 5 suited. Well, there's only 2 of those left. Yeah, 2 of those left. I think it's most likely holding here. It's just King Queen. Ugh. Ugh, this is a gross spot. I ultimately end up deciding on a fold. And our opponent had King Queen. Brutal. I'm so happy to get away with that one though. So on to the next hand. In this next hand, we have pocket 8s on the button. It's folded around to us. I make it 15 and both the blinds call. Sorry, just a small blind call. So heads up to a flop of 8, 7, 3, 2 diamonds. He checks it. I make a mistake here and bet small. This should be a pretty big bet, like 25-ish. But whatever. He calls off to a turn, which is the 4 of hearts. Not great, but we can still keep value betting, and it doesn't seem like he has much. Like 5-6 just did improve, but it's one hand. So I'm going to bet big. I make 75, and he pretty quickly calls. So off to a river, which is really nice. 7 of clubs. He checks it, and yeah, not much to say. We're going to go for some value. I jam all in, but he snap folds. Meh. Button straddle is once again live. Big blind and under the gun have limped. We're on the cutoff with ace jack off. We make it $30 to go. Button calls, big blind calls, and the original limper folds. So 3 ways to a flop of queen 4 deuce with 2 clubs. We do have the ace of clubs, so that's nice. Checks to me. I'm going to start the small bet here. Make it 30. Button folds and big blind calls. So off the turn, looking for some help. It comes. 10 of clubs. Big blind checks, and we are just going to apply max pressure here with our overcard gut shot and flush draw. It can't be that bad if he calls, so stick it all in. He thinks for a little bit, and we are going to get this one through. Nice. Playing with the aces again. So middle position, very splashy player, makes it 12. Button calls. I re-raise to 40, and he just jams all in for his 88. Button folds, and we call. This is a little bit unfortunate because this player is extremely splashy and they're always topping off to 400. He was just busy eating, so it is what it is. Off to the flop, queen, king, jack, 5, not great. Turns a 9, rivers a 5, we show, and he's got the pocket queens. Bit unfortunate he wasn't topping off that hand, but happy to take down this pot. All right. Under the gun has raised to 15, middle position and low jack have made the call, and I've got ace king off in the hijack. I bump it up to $75, folds back round to the middle position player who jams all in for 74, and then the low jack reshoves for 167. Not much of a decision here. Unfortunately, we're all in pre-flop. I make the call and we're off to the races. Jack 8-7 is not good. 5 of clubs, not that great. River's the 9 of spades. This is pretty bad. Middle position shows pocket 9s for a rivered set. Low jack shows queen jack, and we are going to be in 3rd place in this hand and lose. Pretty sizable pot here. Okay, in this next hand, button straddle is live. Small blind and under the gun have limped. We got pocket 5s under the gun +2. We are going to bump it up to 30. Folds all the way back around to the small blind who makes the call. So heads up to a flop of 10, 10, 9, 2 spades. Checks it to me. This player is very, very, very passive. And I don't know. I just think I can bluff them off their hand here. It seems like they have a pocket pair and it's probably going to be bigger than ours. So I bet small, $30, and they make the call. So off to a turn, which is the 6 of clubs. Complete 7, 8, but I don't expect her to have that too much here. Pocket 6s are now a bit unfortunate. But I think she's just got like, 8s or 7s or something like that, or like a 9, just something that can't really hold on to increased pressure. The only thing I can really call here is like 7, 8, or a 10 in her shoes, just because of how tight she is. So she checks, and I go ahead with my bluff and jam it all in. Fortunately, she calls pretty quickly, so yeah. Still got a 5 though. River's a jack, and she shows pocket kings. Later on, I found out that this lady literally does not have a bet or raise button. It's just completely broken. Like, she called with the nuts twice on rivers. like the absolute stone cold nut. She just flatted them in position, didn't raise. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, under the gun has Limp. We have ace six of spades next to act. We bump it up to $15. We actually get 2 callers and back down to the original, what's it called? The original limper. Sorry, we got 3 callers. Original limper now makes it 60. The old limp raise. The odds we're getting to call this are insane. Like, we're calling 45 to win a pot of 165. I don't think we can fold. Although limp re-raise is always so strong. So I make the call and everyone else folds. So off to a flop, which is pretty good. Ace 7-4. It makes it really tough for him to have aces here. I don't think he's doing this like ace king. It's probably a pocket pair. So he starts with a bet though, which is a bit concerning, but it's only $30. So we make the call off to a turn, which is king of hearts. This sucks. Luckily though, he checks. So happy to check this one back and off to a river, which sucks even more. It's a deuce of hearts. He checks it one more time. And I just don't want to bluff into like queens with a heart or jacks with a heart here. Or a set that might not even fold. So I just check it back and he shows pocket jacks, no heart. Nice. We're actually going to take this one down. Starting off with a pretty loose open here. Ace 10 off under the gun plus 2 to $12. And we get 2 callers. Button and small blind both come along for the ride, and we see a pretty good flop. 10-8-5, 2 spades. Checks to me, I am definitely going to bet here. I bet 12 again, and they both call. So off to a turn, which is even nicer. The ace of clubs. Checks to me, I'm going to keep betting here. I can size up a little bit. I make it 60, and the button calls and the small blind folds. Off to river, hoping for no spade. And deuce of clubs, pretty much a brick. I'm going to go polarized here because either I have it or I don't. So I bet 200, but he pretty quickly folds, so looks like he's on a flush draw or something. Okay, this is the final hand of the night. The button straddles live. We are first to act in the big blind. Ace 9 of hearts. I'm going to raise it up to 18. Middle position calls, low jack calls, and so does the button. So we are 4 ways to a flop of 8-4-3, 2 hearts. Pretty good. Gonna start with a bet here. I make it 25, and the low jack calls and the button gets out the way. So heads up to a turn, which is the king of spades. Pretty good card for my range. I don't know, I'm betting to 4 people. I probably don't have that many kings, but I can definitely use this as a scare card. She's only got about 150 something behind, and she did tell me that she's only looked at 1 of her cards, so sounds good to me. I'm all in. Unfortunately, she looks at the other one and realizes that she has pocket aces. Off to a river, needs some help. It does not come. Very nice hand, and I fully trust her that she only did look at 1. I don't think she's slow rolling me or anything like that. Really nice lady. But very nice hand. That is it for the hands. Thanks so much. That's it for episode 22. Thanks again for watching. First session was a lot of fun. We were in for 500, out for 987 for a win of 487. Second session, however, was very boring. We did table change quite a bit. The first 3 tables, I was just, 2 limps, raise, everyone folds. Had to chop pocket 10s and ace king suited in the blinds. Bleh. Not a lot of fun. I think I played really well though. The pocket 5s hand might be a bit of punt, but I still stand by my decision. I think it was pretty good. We were in that game for 800, out for 507 for a loss of 297, which means we won a total of $194 this bankroll challenge. That's going to bring our roll up from 3,463 up to 3,657. Little baby steps. We're getting there. I'll see you guys all in the next one. And once again, thank you so much for watching.